The importance of providing enough background information. If you are having a conversation and somebody asks you a question, you naturally give enough background information to help them understand your response. If someone were to ask you, "How was your weekend?" you wouldn't start by sharing an evaluation of one specific detail. For example, you wouldn't say, "I can't believe that it cost more than $200 to fix." Your friend would wonder, what cost $200 to fix? Your car? Your computer? Your tooth? And why can't you believe it cost that much? If you never took the time to give the background information, your friend would give up trying to understand and would probably change the topic. Similarly, when you write, you can't assume that all of your readers will know exactly what you already know. It's important to provide enough background information. Background information allows the reader to understand the most important facts before you present the main idea or thesis of your writing. A good example of providing enough background information is what you find when reading a news story. News reporters know that their readers want to quickly understand what happened, who was involved, where, when, how, and why did it happen. In a news story, most of this information is provided in the first few sentences. When you are writing academically, you don't always have to clarify the who, what, when, where, how, and why of a topic or situation, but you need to provide enough information so your reader is prepared to understand your main idea. How much background information should you include, and how detailed should it be? That depends on the length of your writing, your purpose in writing, and your intended audience. First, let's talk about length. If you are writing a single paragraph, the background information is normally just 1 or 2 sentences. If you are writing a 5-paragraph essay, most of the first paragraph should give the general background information. For papers that are longer, the first 1 or 2 pages could be used to give background information. Next, let's look at your purpose and your intended audience. These two things are connected because you need to judge how familiar your intended audience will be with your topic, and also judge how much your audience will understand your topic and appreciate the importance of your point of view. For example, if you are writing a paper to describe the significance of Einstein's equation E = mc squared, the background information must take into account your reader's background knowledge. If you are writing for young readers, then you need to define each of the variables in this equation. You also need to explain as simply as possible what was Einstein's purpose when he introduced this formula. On the other hand, if you are writing for scholars who have a PhD in physics, you can safely assume that they already know the meaning and the history behind this equation, and they are ready to understand research that has not yet been published. Is it possible to provide too much background information? Yes. As an analogy, you can think of giving background information the same as describing the scene of a crime in a neighborhood community. If you are describing the neighborhood for someone who has never visited before, you need to be very detailed in your description about the important streets, buildings, and landmarks before they can get a sense of where and how the crime happened. On the other hand, if you are giving background to a police who has worked in the same neighborhood for many years, you can communicate more efficiently by getting straight to the point. However, with academic writing, you don't always know who will read your paper. Of course, you know your reader is generally very well educated, And you don't want to insult your readers by assuming they don't know anything. But even very educated readers might not yet have the specific background needed to fully understand or appreciate your point of view. For this reason, you always need to provide some background information in your introduction that will prepare your reader to better understand the significance of your topic and allow them to better appreciate your point of view. Finally, what type of background information should you provide in your introduction? That really depends on your purpose. If you are writing a persuasive essay, you need to give enough background that your reader can understand both the topic and at least one reason for your opinion. If you are writing a comparison essay, you need to clearly identify the main things you are comparing and explain the purpose of your comparison. If you are writing a cause and effect essay, you need to provide enough background so that the reader can understand the relationship between the main cause or effect. If you are writing a problem-solution essay, you need to describe enough of the problem so that your reader can understand the need for your solution. The main point is that the background information prepares your reader to clearly understand the subject of your writing and more fully understand your purpose.